Now for something of a different pace. From March 17th to 19th, the University of Calgary hosted the CIS Women's Basketball Final 8 tournament. The Calgary Dinos were one of the teams competing for the bronze baby. First, NUTV's John Wilson interviews Erika Romanow and Jessica Franz to sum up the Dinos' spectacular season. Then, a look at the fan support from all sides.
Thank you, Sasha. Pretty much we'll just call this a Dynamite Live. All right, we'll start. It's a question for both of you, though. Just quickly, whoever wants to tackle this first, how did you guys get started in basketball?
I was 7 years old, and my best friend at the time had just asked me, she told me, oh, you're tall, I'm tall, so let's just play basketball. And then from there, like 11 years later, just playing again, now playing for UC.
Mine was a lot later. In grade 9, I started playing, and I was tall, and then I just made a provincial team and decided I'd probably stick with it.
Well, actually, let's start with the season. You guys had a pretty good record this year, 14-6. But you guys went out early in the playoffs. Just whoever wants to tackle this, your thoughts on the regular season, which you guys had a pretty good record and finished third in the East.
14-6 is something to really, really, really proud of. And our coming out, our first half of the season was really, really good, 6-2 against some of the top teams in the country. We beat UBC, who just came second. We played all the top teams in the country, so we were pretty happy with what we had accomplished there.
Yeah, we were very confident going to playoffs. We lost to Fraser Valley in the regular season. They were one of our 6 losses, but we did feel confident, and we knew where we were going to be on March 17th, so losing in playoffs wasn't really a downfall for us. It was kind of like, okay, well, now we have something to work for. It wasn't our end of our season, we knew, so March 17th was the main goal all year.
On that, going into that playoff series, were you guys actually looking ahead to the Nationals and kind of just the playoffs were kind of just a little bit an afterthought, or was it full business getting into the playoffs?
We took our playoffs really seriously. We wanted to prove that we belonged at Nationals. We didn't just want to make it because we were the host. But I mean, at the same time, it is hard not to always think in the back of your mind, well, we always have this. It's like a backup plan. So that was kind of tough. But we definitely wanted to go and improve something to Fraser Valley, which we did not, but we did in the end. So
yeah, so pretty much just the same thing. Going into Fraser Valley, we were confident that we were going to beat them. We had a 3-game series against them. We lost the first 2 games, unfortunately, so it didn't go into the third. But, yeah, we were just confident, and we wanted to be Canada West Finals. That was also another goal of ours, and that didn't happen, but that's okay.
You guys did have a lot of extra practice time going into the Nationals. And talking to the coach, she said it was kind of an advantage because you guys were all together as a team and you guys got to sleep in your own beds. Did you feel that was an advantage?
We had a couple days just to regroup and get ourselves back physically and mentally. So that did work in our advantage because every other team was fighting and, scouting other teams, playing every weekend, traveling across the country to play in regionals. So it did work out to our advantage.
Yeah. Similar to what Erika said, I really agree. Most teams, they were prepping for every single night and having to look at the teams that they were playing each of those days to get through. For us, we were able to just take those 3 weeks we planned for the wrong teams, but we were able to take those 3 weeks to plan for who we thought we would play at Nationals, and that's all we did. And we practiced, we got closer as a team, took care of our injuries, and just were able to come out strong at Nationals, which we did.
All right, moving on to Nationals. You guys were ranked the 8th seed, but a lot of talk in the stands during the game with Regina says that ranking should have been higher. Do you guys agree, or was that a fair ranking being the last seed?
Oh, no, we fully agree, and I think if you ask Regina, they were probably really upset that they had to play us in the first round. They were the number 1 seed going in, and they had the toughest draw of anyone. The McGills and the Acadia, they were the worst teams in there. They proved that to be the case, and for Regina, the best team going in, who lost in the first round to us, we just proved that we definitely did not deserve that 8 seed ranking.
Yeah, especially being in Canada West, which is the strongest conference in the country. We definitely should have. That alone says something, especially having a 14-6 record in Canada West, that at least we were expecting a 7th seed, minimum. So especially AUS teams, although they have won their conference, that league is nothing compared to Canada West. It's totally 2 different leagues.
Let's talk about the actual Regina game. What a huge upset. That crowd was fantastic. I was in the stands as well as We got a bunch of interviews, and it was insane. You had a huge game against Regina. Can you talk about your game?
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was like, I said it one time, the crowd is like Red Bull. It gave me wings. It gave our whole team wings. It was such an adrenaline rush. I don't know, it just brings something out of you. You think you can't make a shot, but you don't even need the legs because the crowd is just so far behind you. They're like pushing the ball into the hoop for you. And our team was so together, and we had such synergy on the court, and I think the crowd could feel that, we could feel it, and poor Regina, they couldn't match it.
Well, you weren't a big contributor. You were definitely on the bench feeling the energy. Yeah, but like, what do you do on the bench during those kind of games where you're in control and it's going to be a huge upset? Like what do you do on the not taking away from your skills, but just based, like, you have to be there for motivation, right?
Yeah, I just know like our team feeds off the energy. So if we don't bring that like on the bench and even on the court, like if everyone doesn't bring energy, then we're not at our best. We proved that in the next game when, you know, it was like a roller coaster of emotions, up and down, with energy levels. So just to me, it was, okay, like, we're bringing it. This is the first seed, Regina. We have nothing to lose. Let's leave it all out there, you know. So just lifting everyone up and just playing off the crowd as well. The crowd makes you want to get into the game. So
what was the game plan going into Regina? Because other than maybe that short time in the third quarter where they kind of clawed back, you guys had complete control from opening tip-off. What was the game plan going in?
I mean, that basically was our game plan. We stressed over season that sometimes we focus too hard on other teams and we don't spend a lot of time practicing our stuff. We overthink what they do, and so we went into Regina just thinking, we're the better team. We're gonna do our stuff, and we're gonna adjust where we need to adjust. We're gonna, you know, high hedge on ball screens and try and take away some of their strength, which is driving to the hoop and their three-point shooting. But other than that, we just tried to focus on our things and our stuff, and that really worked, and that showed in our synergy and how we were together.
Well, again, like, we're the type of team who, if we focus on the other team too much, we'll lose. And that was evident in the Fraser Valley first round of the playoffs. We were so focused on what does Fraser Valley do, how are we going to shut them down, when we didn't think anything about us. Like, how are we going to run our stuff on offense and our defense, how we're going to play. So, yeah, going into Regina, we just thought, okay, like, this is our one chance for lots of us, right? Our one chance at nationals. Let's just leave it all out there, focus on us, play for each other and together. So.
You guys did experience the high of beating the number one team. Unfortunately, the run had to end the next night against the eventual champions. It noticed that the slow start in the first quarter kind of got to you guys. Was it exhaustion from the previous night and like the pure energy?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a bit of a mix of everything. We're on such a high, and you know, we feel like we've really got ourselves in a good place, and then just to come out and just to not have the energy that we had the night before, and not have that same feeling, and things weren't working the same way, and we just kind of started to get down, and we let things happen, and it was tough, especially for me. I got in foul trouble really early, and I only was able to play like 16 minutes of that game, and so that's really a big bummer when we're playing a team with such strong posts. I couldn't be in the game at all, so I was really, really upset with myself there. So. Yeah,
just in the first quarter, I don't know, against Regina, it was easier to get pumped up because we were playing number one, first game of nationals. You know, we weren't expecting to win. We wanted to win, but it wasn't the end of the world if we didn't win. But going into that second game, it was like, okay, like, kind of made a name for ourselves because we had just beaten the number one team. Everyone was like, okay, Calgary's on our radar, but at the same time thinking, oh, it was a fluke. So I think there was more pressure to win the second game because we wanted to prove it wasn't a fluke, and also we were playing the defending champions of last year's nationals. So yeah, but they're a good team, so no discredit there.
You guys have nothing to be ashamed of. A fourth place finish and knocking off the number one team is a huge accomplishment, especially at a national tournament. Just quickly, just a couple words, where does this program move forward going into next year?
Anything but being at a national tournament next year and for many years to come will only be an upsetting disappointment for us. So I think that's our goal, and you know, next year our goal is going to be to win a national championship just like it was this year. And now that we have a taste of what it's like to be at a national championship, I think we're going to come in a lot hungrier and a lot readier.
I just feel a lot more hungry now that I've had that experience. Like, I just want to be there every year now, and I don't want to settle for anything less. Just every year I want to be in the national championships, and next year I want to win for our seniors like Jess and everyone else. So.